Never mind.
Can everyone take their seats, please?
That's the biggest crowd we've had in a while.
Oh, I don't have a little. We will call to order tonight's meeting at CUSD 201 Board of Education, November 19th, 2013. And a roll call, please, Mrs. McMahon.
Mr. Armstrong?
Here.
Ms. Caparelli?
Here.
Mrs. Charlton?
Here.
Mrs. Hancock?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mrs. Knapbush?
Here.
Mr. Price?
Here.
If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is behind you back there.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, if we could have a moment of silence for Mayor Bill Ron, who passed away last week. In front of the board members, you all have something, a little gift. Many of us knew Mayor Ron and knew that he was a very big supporter of schools. He was a vocational teacher for many years before he became the mayor. So at the funeral, after the funeral, there was he loved gardening. So there was some bulbs put together. And so every board member has received a copy of this, a piece, one of these bulbs. And it was put together by some community members and handed out by Michelle Forsley, Kathy and Mark Forsley's daughter. So the family wanted to make sure that all the board members got a bulb to plant in your garden, so every year when it comes up. Also, they gave me a handful to plant at our South School Early Childhood Center, since that was a passion of his. So that's what you all have in front of you. Now we'll go straight to. First item on the agenda is closed session. The chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session for the purpose of discussing student discipline. Roll call, please.
You need a motion.
Motion, sorry.
So moved. Second.
Now roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Ms. Caparelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Knapbush?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
We will resume after a short closed session. Okay, we are back from closed session. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the October 22nd, 2013 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the October 22nd, 2013 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the November 5th, 2013 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the November 7th, 2013 special meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Quick question, I was not there through the end of the meeting. Do I need to abstain?
No, because you were there at the
Beginning,
for
okay.
most of it. So, okay, so yes. Okay. Motion carried. Are there any public comments? Okay. The consent agenda. Anything? All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Number 1, personnel recommendations. 2, approval of payroll deductions. 3, approval of energy efficient school grant. 4, approval of November 2013 expenditure report, and 5, ratification of October 2013 regular payroll.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please, Mrs. McMahon.
Ms. Caparelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes.
Mrs. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Knappus?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Okay, we are going to move to the tentative levy for 2013. Did the board members at the end want to come on over here to see this? Or,
It's in here.
It's in
Is
your.
it on
Is it
the
in the
then you're
packet?
right, okay.
And it's not changed from what's in here, then I'll just stay here.
Okay.
Good evening. I've got the 2013 tentative levy recommendations for you this evening. And we're going to start out with an overview of the school district levy process. First, we start by looking at our revenue and expenditures for the upcoming year. I meet with the York and Downers Grove Township assessors to get an estimate of what EAV is going to do and what they think new value is going to be. And for this year, we're looking at probably another decline in EAV of about 6% and about $1.5 million in new revenue, new value. I then review the budget implications by fund based on these estimates and present the preliminary levy to the board, which we're doing this evening. And then based on that, we'll be publishing a truth in taxation notice because we're going to levy more than the CPI increase. And we'll have the public levy hearing at the December 10th board meeting. And then we have to file the certificate of levy by the last Tuesday in December. Levy recommendations by fund are listed, and you can see the total for the funds that are subject to the tax cap is a little over $22 million. Our debt service levy is about $1.3 million for a total levy of $23.3 million. Now, this levy is subject to the property tax extension limitation law, and that allows us to either ask for 105% of the previous year's levy or the preceding year's CPI, whichever is less. In this case, the CPI was 1.7%, so that's what we're going to be requesting. And overall, the levy is a 7.94% increase over last year's extension and 8.29% increase for just those funds that are subject to the tax cap. We ask for more than the 1.7% because, again, we just receive estimates. We don't really know what our EAV is going to be. We don't know what our new growth is, and we won't know that until sometime after the beginning of the year. And we want to make sure that we don't lose any potential revenue to the district. So we ask for more than we're allowed, and we ask for more than we expect that we'll get. And then we're actually anticipating a 2.05% overall increase and 2.4% in the capped funds. If this chart shows a comparison of what what our levy is, so what we're asking for at the on the levy request, and versus what we actually get. So you can see the blue lines represent what we've asked for, and the red boxes indicate what we've actually received. And so for 2013, again, we're going to ask for 8.29%. We expect that we're going to receive only a 2.05% increase. We've got, this is an interesting graph. It looks a little bit different this year than it has in past years. This is the tax rate history since 2003 with the estimates for 2013. The red bars depict the operating rate, so your ed, O&M, everything we need to operate the school. The blue box is our debt service, so for the bonds that we issued for the renovations that we've done throughout the district. And you can see our debt service rate has remained pretty steady. The operating rate, though, has increased over time. And you can see if you look at 2003, the rate was overall 3.9% and gradually decreased all the way through 2008, which we would anticipate because during that time, our EAV was increasing. Property values were going up, As soon as we hit 2009, property values started to decrease, and we've had decreases in property values ever since. 2002 or 12, we had a large decrease, about 10% decrease in our EAV. So as your property value goes down, it causes your tax rate to go up, and that's why our tax rate's going up. Typically, in a tax-capped environment, when you are not increasing your rate because of a referendum, you should see your tax rate continuing to decline. But because we've had EAV that's declining, our tax rate's increasing. And so we estimate overall tax rate of 4.921 next for the 2013 levy, 4.64 in the operating funds, and 0.28 for debt service. And then this chart shows tax rate of unit districts, and then some of our neighbors, a combination of high school and elementary districts. So you can see that for unit districts, we have the lowest tax rate overall. Lisle is comparable in size to us. You can see our tax rate is a little bit better than theirs. And then when you look at the high school and elementary combination, we're about in the middle. There's a couple of districts that are lower and a few that are higher. Okay, the next thing we have to do is publish the Truth in Taxation Notice, which will be in the Liberty Suburban newspaper on Wednesday, November 27th. And then we'll hold the public levy hearing at the Village Hall on Tuesday, December 10th. Does anybody have any questions?
No. Okay, am I doing this?
You'll do both motions, right? First this one and then this one. Yeah.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution to adopt the tentative 2013 tax levy as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Natbush?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Ms. Caparelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes. Okay, and then right into the second one. The chair will entertain approval of the resolution authorizing a supplemental tax levy to pay the principal of and the interest on outstanding limited bonds of Community Unit School District 201, DuPage County, Illinois, as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Natbush?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
Ms. Caparelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Hancock?
Yes.
Mrs. Charlton?
Yes. Okay, the next thing is the presentation of the monthly financial statements.
Okay. You have the usual financial statements in front of you, the investment report, the lunch report. This month, where lunch revenues are looking a little bit better than they have in the prior year, so that's good. Expenditures are down a little bit, so our deficit for food service is lower than it has been in the past year. Investments are attached, as well as fund balances and activity accounts. Again, this month, the district received about $76,000 from the state. The state has vouchered $322,000 that they haven't released to the district. And we did receive another installment of the 2012 tax levy in the amount of about $219,000. So we've collected 96.6% of the 2012 levy so far, and that's just slightly higher than it was over the past 3 years. And we'll have another, we had another distribution in November that we'll report next month. Again, in most of the funds, we're right about where we should be with revenues and expenditures at this time of the year. And again, the state continues to be behind in payments for fiscal year 14. Does anybody have questions?
So the collection rate's pretty high. Do you anticipate that will continue in future years? Or do we know what that's attributable to?
Well, the county levies a 1% uncollectible, so they levy a little bit more to make up for uncollectible balances. We typically run about 99.4 to 99.6% collection rate, and so we'll, I continue to monitor that to see if there's any trend with us, with that going down. So, but we budget based on that collection rate.
Anything else? Then we will move on to the Westmont High School course offerings. Mr. Balderman?
Good evening, everybody. I know tonight we want to move pretty quickly, but so I'm going to do that and leave any time for questions possible. Before we do, I know that at 7 they have the Rachel's Challenge presentation for the community. The student body witnessed that this afternoon, and it went extremely well. I also, in the last few weeks, have I met with all of our students in small groups, and I asked them to complete a 9-question open survey. And so we did a compilation of one of the questions here. And this may not be the best time to discuss it, but I at least wanted it in your hands. And the thing that really impressed me was overwhelmingly how the students felt about their teachers, and specifically how they felt that their teachers really cared about them as people and their academic progress. So there's a compilation of a lot of the different actual quotes from the students that I've compiled. Actually, Carla did all the work, but it's there for you to take a look at. So I'm really proud of our guidance department, our department coordinators, and our teachers, because this presentation we're going to do tonight really was born from their energy and their belief that we needed to increase the graduation requirements at our high school. I really believe in the strength of distributed leadership, and this initiative really came from our faculty and our guidance department and our department coordinators. So many of them are here tonight to represent their particular departments and courses, but I'd like to just give you a quick overview of what we're asking you to approve. The bottom line is we currently have 20 credits for graduation at Westmont High School. We're asking to increase that to 22. Larissa Zalisco and the guidance department did a phenomenal job, I think, of compiling all the data for you, very specifically letting you know where we are currently at and what neighboring districts are doing. So the bottom line is that's all in your handout with this data analysis, but we're asking specifically, once again, to increase, starting with the class of 2018, that would be next year's incoming class, if you would approve, from 20 credits to 22. As you can see from the data, we're one of the lower districts when it comes to the expectations of how many graduation requirements we have. So we're increasing that slightly. The science credit will remain at 2, but we're going to push very heavily for the majority of our students to take 3 science credits. The reason why we didn't just go right to 3 science credits is that many of our students like to take advantage of the TCD program, and that would make it pretty prohibitive if we had that. But we still will have a very high percentage of students taking 3 years in science. We already do, quite frankly. Even with the 2-year requirement, we have over 70% of our students already taking 3 years. But we want some flexibility to be able to be student-centered and really meet the needs of all of our students. A very slight adjustment in the world history credit. We want to, once again, give some flexibility while maintaining an increased requirement, but make sure that at least one of the classes the students take is non-U.S. based history. It's required they take a year of U.S. history. It's required they take a government class and an economics class, so that leaves one more class that they have to take, and we want that to be something beyond our own borders, especially as our world becomes smaller and we need to have awareness of what's happening outside of our own country. Pretty much just a housekeeping adjustment. We really don't have the industrial arts program anymore. Our family and consumer science program, we have some offerings, but we really want to make sure the students have at least one class in business before they leave. And Bridget Dervitt does an amazing job in that program, and really a focus on getting students ready for the world outside of high school. Here are the new course proposals. I am going to move quickly and leave time for questions. First of all, AP Psychology. There are a lot of students are asking for this offering. It's another rigorous opportunity for our students. It's fairly accessible, and I think there's great student interest. I think we'll be able to run a section of this in the future. And it once again complements our AP offerings, more rigorous opportunities for our students, but a little bit different than some of the other offerings we currently have. We're going to ask for AP Macro and Microeconomics. The staff development that'll be needed to make this courses go will be supported by what we hope is the third round of funding from the state and our AP grant. But the macro and the micro are pretty intense courses. We will open enrollment, but we probably won't recruit as aggressively as we have in the other advanced placement courses, but at least we'll be providing our students with this opportunity if they wish to take it. Many of the quality schools in our area offer this. We currently don't. We're hoping to do so next year. The AP Physics course is a new offering replacing our honors physics program. There have been some adjustments made by the College Board, and so this would be another opportunity for our students in our science curriculum to take an advanced placement course. We currently have an honors program, and we are looking to offer the AP Physics program. We're doing some adjustments in biology. And I would like to have Mr. Lisko or members of the science department maybe say a little bit more about this if you have questions. There's several reasons we're doing this. We want all of our students coming in at the freshman level to have that biology experience. I think it'll also lend itself to some interdisciplinary opportunities or some grade level teaming that could be positive, but they can reiterate upon that. So there's the biology program and biology enriched. We will maintain the honors biology program. We also have an honors algebra course that will be new, giving our freshmen a chance to be rigorously prepared. One thing that we are working very well, I think, with the junior high and articulation efforts, especially on the math front, because I think what's happening is sometimes in our really trying to get students prepared, we want to make sure that they have the most solid algebra background possible. So we've done some nice articulation in the last few weeks with the junior high in developing exit outcomes, so the criteria and targets are very clear between what the expectations are at the junior high and at the high school, and I think we're making some progress there. One of the things that we think might be necessary is to have an honors algebra course at the freshman level. So students who aren't ready for honors geometry can still get rigorous curriculum there, but they would take algebra in their freshman year. In our world language programs, we're offering honors sections to reflect the rigor that's present in French 3, French 4 and 5, and then also in Spanish 3, 4, and 5. So those are the offerings. I have a talented group of people who could probably give you even better specific answers to questions you had that are assembled here tonight, but we're open for any kind of concerns or questions that you might have.
I've got a couple questions.
Sure.
These courses don't replace anything you presented last year, right? You'll still have those supportive courses that you offered last year? And
Yes.
Okay, in addition to, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then my second question is, you state that most of the kids get at least 22 credits regardless. Is there a percentage of kids that might really find this hard to achieve? Is it 1%, 5%? Is it none? 3 to 4%.
3 to 4%. We do not have students meeting the current, or I'm sorry, 3 to 4% of students are currently not meeting 22 credits. But our belief at the high school level is that if students have this expectation starting out the
Absolutely.
freshman year,
Yep.
we will not have any students not meeting this requirement.
Right, I agree with that completely. Okay, thanks.
And we do have our academic support systems in place. Students can take 7 classes a year, so it's potentially they could get 28 credits. Even if they failed 1 class a year hypothetically, or took 1 non-credit course every year, 6, 6, 6, and 6 would be 24 in excess. And I think with the summer school option we have for students who are failing core classes, we should have supports for students who would struggle normally.
Sure, okay, thank you.
In your packet of information, alongside the data, there is the highest number of credits earned by Westmont High School students, and you'll see from 2009 on, it's been in the 30s of credits that students have earned graduating from Westmont High School, as far as the highest number.
Thank you.
I have a question. You had mentioned about the AP grants, and since we are just finished talking about money, do we have any idea when you might know about that?
Well, Kim and I attended a meeting just a few weeks ago, so we did receive the second round of funding, so that brings it to close to $100,000, and in part based on our results and our success, which, we're still compiling that data, I'm very confident, I think, that we'll get another $50,000 somewhere in that ballpark. and that should pay for our staff development to have the program fully implemented. The other, Kevin said I'd have the chance to present in December to the board about an update on our progress on all of our academic programs and our SMART goals. Tonight was just to get this information about the graduation increase. Okay.
Okay,
But the first quarter grades are in, and the grade distribution for the students in AP classes is very strong. We have some students probably who are a little over their heads. We may need to make some adjustments at semester, but overwhelmingly the grade distribution is very strong. We're having a lot of success there. So.
Okay, and that was my second very quick question. If you could, I know the school year's just started and everything, but if you could come and talk to us about what we're seeing at the high school. Are we seeing, the rigorous education? Are these kids getting the support they need for that? And, again, I 100% agree with, raise the bar and they'll get there. But I would find it interesting just to hear how things are going.
Yeah, we're tracking that data.
Great.
Very closely, and so we'll give you what we have in when I come in December.
Great.
I hope so.
Thank you.
I have a couple kind of smaller questions. One is, given course dependencies. So as an example, like for myself, AP Physics was the best course I took K-12. I loved it. Okay, but it was heavily dependent on calculus. Do we have? And so I'm assuming this one would be also. So. Would we have enough kids going through the calculus program to get into it, or is that not a dependency in this case?
This is not the calculus-based version.
Okay.
This is the B curriculum, and
Okay.
which was the algebra-based, and they have changed to a 2-year sequence now. So this would not be the calculus-based version.
Okay. And also on dependencies, and I might be asking a silly question, are we offering French at the junior high, or how would a student get into French 5?
Some of the students come in from Holy Trinity.
Okay.
That's currently the ones we have, and I was talking to Mr. Joanne today about the possibility of maybe having some 8th graders come to the high school next year,
Very cool.
which make it a little more feasible, other than having a teacher over at the junior high like they do for the Spanish.
Okay. And last, I'm curious about differentiation between honors and AP for the languages. Is it kind of a level of difficulty thing, or why would we choose one over the other?
You mean why offering? Please.
Just meaning, so we have honors, French 3, 4, and 5, and Spanish 3, 4, and 5, as opposed to AP. And for myself, like, I took German in high school. I didn't actually take it AP, but it still prepared me for the AP test. But they did have AP level classes. I'm just wondering about the difference and why, when we're moving to a lot of AP classes, which is great, and the honors classes are great too, why honors versus AP? What the differentiator was?
The percentage of students that we're targeting for an AP course in a language probably is 2 to 3, maybe 5% of our students. And in order for to have an AP course, you have to have articulation from level 1.
Sure.
The testing of an AP student in languages, when they test in, if they score a 3, 4, or 5, we're actually testing into 3rd-year languages in college, not first or second. And so therefore, it's very different.
Okay.
What we're hoping to do is more work towards seal of biliteracy, which can apply to not only language students, but to ELL students, even the programs of languages that we don't offer free, as long as we can find it appropriately gauged there.
Wonderful.
But we're also offering the AP test if they want to do it, and doing AP level work in class and doing activities to prepare them for AP exams and also for any kind of placement exams that they might be taking in college. So trying to prepare them for all kinds of different tests and options that they can do.
Great. Thank you.
Quick question about TCD. So my understanding is that students can earn credits at TCD. So we're offering a lot more rigorous curriculum in advanced classes. How does that match up with students who want to leave our campus and go to TCD? And also, sort of secondary question, are we challenging TCD, or are we looking at their programs and saying, hey, this is a focus in our building? Are our students going to also get this rigorous focus when they come over to your programs?
Friday for a council day. They're planning on adding a number of new classes at TCD that I don't even know know about yet. One class that they are adding is biotechnical engineering. Again, don't know much about other than the name. That's a new class there at the Technology Center of DuPage. The increase in credits actually accounts for those students that are planning on making the transition to TCD in their junior and or senior year. We've had more students who have focused in on taking TCD just at the senior year, and with this increase of credits, that definitely satisfies it, because the increase in credits doesn't lie in general, not in general, it doesn't lie in specific requirements, it lies in the overall requirement from 20 to 22. So those TCD credits absolutely would satisfy graduation requirements, and we'll absolutely have more information to share after this Friday, so we'll pass that along.
And if I could add, just regarding the rigor of the programs at the Technology Center of DuPage, about 60% of the students who are enrolled in those programs are actually earning college credit. So I feel that we are reasonably confident that those programs are presenting our students with the level of rigor we would expect them to take if they were staying here at Westmont High School for that same amount of time. So it is a really good chunk of students who are actually earning credit on a college transcript while at TCD. So it may not be labeled as an AP class, but they are still getting that challenge and receiving that academic rigor and able to earn college credit for those programs.
Jack, with the biology offerings that are here, I see they're both level 9 and 10. Excuse me. Do we have classes that are designed for upperclassmen?
We have the 11 and 12 is actually sophomores, juniors, and seniors can take medical science, which is designed to help anyone who wants to go into the health field. And then we also have the AP Environmental Science, that's the new AP course this year. So that will help them with the rigor of a college course. And then we have forensics as well, and then physics, obviously, but then work with all the upperclassmen.
I mean, having taken a number of biology courses myself, I've always found it strange that you kind of learn biology first, and then you go on to chemistry and physics, when the complexity of the human body and complexity of, living organisms involves so much chemistry and so much physics that it almost seems like it would be helpful if things were switched and you actually learned physics, chemistry, and then you learn the life sciences. And for some reason, I'm sure it's this way in most high schools. I know it was even when I was in high school, that you seem to go right into biology. And so getting a real solid understanding of biochemistry and physiology and those sorts of kind of upper level concepts in biology, I don't know if you can really convey them without some sort of background in the physical sciences. So
We're definitely going to push and continue pushing students to take other advanced science classes as they continue throughout their high school careers. We just want to make sure, since all 2-year and 4-year colleges are looking for the biology to be listed on students' transcripts, we want to make sure that we give students making sure that all students are taking that biology class right at the get-go. It is a lab science. We want to make sure that all of our students have experience with that type of lab science immediately upon entrance into high school.
And to get to your point, a lot of our students who are taking more science courses will have had the chemistry and the physics, and then they'll have the more advanced biology courses in their junior and senior year.
right. Okay. I'm good.
Okay. I guess the one thing, I know we're all watching the time very closely, but in case we start getting 12 calls tomorrow, this upping of the credit starts with the class of 2018.
Yes.
So this isn't like affecting the kids who are graduating right now.
Current 8th graders.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for this. And look forward to hearing more from you. Okay. Are there any board reports? Are there any public comments? Yay. Okay. So please, for those that are here, stay around for Rachel's challenge. And the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.